So if we were learning effects of negative culture on ethical behavior, wherein the first one was lack of moral leadership. If the leader is following the actual moral values and keeping things in track, then everything will go in a good way. Then hyper competitiveness. Hyper competitiveness is competition is good, healthy competition is good, but you should not uh, go beyond certain limit in the competitiveness also. You should not use unethical methods just to prove that you are good or you are superior. Okay, so that is a wrong thing. Suppose there is, let's say, you would have seen lot of things in movies, right? Like if you see ABCD movie, they will just bribe one of the dancer and they'll steal the idea. So, those are unethical methods. They should never go to those things. So that is hyper competitiveness, competition beyond the limit, which can uh, phase or which can become too bad for the organization as well as the employee. So that will be hyper competitiveness, which is a big no, that should not be followed. Competitiveness in a normal way is enough. Never take your employees for the personal advantage. Then poor discipline. Few companies are flexible in timing, but that does not mean the employees can walk in anytime, walk out anytime. The employees can wear their night dress and come to the office. That is not a discipline. So that is why every company will have a shift. You either you can have a morning shift, general shift, evening or afternoon shift, afternoon to night, something like that you'll have, and again you can have a night shift. So when you have shifts like this, it will be easier for the company also to have a track how much you have spent time in the company. You cannot be there 24 hours in the company. Only in case of work you can work. There's nothing like it's wrong, but then there should be a valid reason for you to stay back in the company. Okay, so poor discipline is never to be encouraged. Now if company is encourages any sort of dress, any sort of code of conduct, then there is no value for the company's principles to be followed with. So ethics has to be followed and it should not go out of line. Then lack of discussions. So the company has to clearly notify or clearly communicate that they have these cultures to be followed, and these are the things which they encourage, these are the things which they do not like it in the company. So they have to spread the awareness. They have to make sure that the employees know what is right to be done in the company and what is wrong. So if they don't discuss, if they don't give out their honest discussion to the employees, then people will be, in their own shell, in their own comfort zone, where they do whatever they want. The company should clearly say unethical behavior is not encouraged. Unethical behavior will be people may be thrown out of the company also. So it has to be clearly communicated. So these are the major effects, negative effects. It's not positive, it's negative effect on ethical behavior if they don't follow ethics. Clear? Next, role of corporate culture. Now, how this corporate culture is affecting the business, is affecting the employee, that is how we have been understanding the whole lot of chapter. Now, even if it's a small business or a big business, they will have certain ways of doing things. Every house will have a way of doing things. Few of them will have breakfast at their home. Few of them will not have breakfast. For few of them, breakfast means only rice items. For few of them, breakfast means only bread or only fruits. Okay, so it differs. The culture differs from one house to another. Similarly, for the companies also, the culture will differ. The culture will change. So let us see how that will impact in the business. So corporate culture will make businesses stronger by giving a particular system, by giving a particular pattern which is uniform to everybody. Now, let's take for example, now why do colleges or schools have uniforms? Colleges, majority of them don't have uniforms, especially when it comes to degree, but then PUC, they're okay. So let's take school only. Why do schools have uniforms? So that the children from that small age, from that young age, they understand that they should not discriminate, they should not talk uh, low on people with different complexion, different size, different way. They should never differentiate between people. So that is why there is uniform which is being given. So the companies also would like to have that particular way of treating people. Now, when you are grown up, your mind is able to process things in a better way. So in that scenario, nobody will put you 100% rules. You should understand and you should do the work. Okay, so the corporate culture will make the business stronger by giving the stronger employees. Now, that stronger employees will come from the corporate culture and the employees being very committed to the company, and there will be no compromise. There will be no compromise on anything that they do. Then corporate culture should convey how businesses will give the expectation and how they reward. If you are able to give extra to the company, if you are able to do extra to the company, then you will be getting the reward. At least you will be recognized for doing that extra things. So the corporate culture in the business will have the benchmarks. They will give you certain targets, certain work where you will have to succeed in those work, and then you will be rewarded. Now all the department will have the important role, equally important role in the business, and such departments has to work together. If those departments start fighting, if production department doesn't like sales department, if sales department doesn't like accounts department, gone case. You will not be able to sell even one product. So every department has to work in a clear way. Everybody will have their own stress, everybody will have their own work, their own commitments, but when it comes to working as an organization, you should work together. Okay, so that is the next point. Then after that, corporate culture will have a direct impact on hiring the best employees, retaining the best employees, collaborating with the best employees. Now, our RBI, there was a governor called Raghuram Rajan. Okay, so Sir Raghuram Rajan he is an economist even today. Currently, he is working in, I think, UK or US university. I'm not very sure about it, but I closely follow his thoughts and all that. He was the RBI governor for 3 years. Okay, so this person is looked up on so much because he was able to get the country out of major inflation and the currency crisis. It was before demonetization, not after that. If it was before demonetization, where our currency value had crashed to a very bad level. Currency value crash means what will happen is the currency value will decrease. Decrease means, now let's take for example, to buy $1, we were supposed to pay somewhere around 75 to 80 rupees. So against the dollar, our rupee money was reduced. So we have to pay more money to get less things. So that is inflation, right? So more money is being put out to buy small little goods. So later, with his ways, later with Raghuram Rajan sir's techniques, they reduced the price. I think it went up to 45 to 50 was the range that it went up to. Now again it is back to somewhere around 60 to 65, or sometimes it reaches 70 also. Okay, so as now just for $1, if we are spending, say suppose 80 rupees, we are giving more of our money, right? So if we just give, this is important because every day we will do some or the other import. We will be importing medicines, we will be importing food grains, we will be importing clothes. We do so many importation, and for them we have to pay it in a different currency. So in those cases, for everyday business we would require the other currencies also, and conversion is also important. Now in such cases, now why was Raghuram Rajan sir called to India? He's an Indian, but he is settled in US there. So why was he called back here for? Because he is best in his field. Okay, if you see the directors of the company, now directors of the company will be best in their field. They'll be best in banking, or they'll be best in taking care of a software company. So because they are best in their field, so they will be hired into the higher positions, and then they will try to retain the most honest and the best employees. Okay, they'll try to retain, they'll give you the required hike, they'll give you the promotions if you are good. Only if you are good, you'll be encouraged. Then policy compliance, communication, effectiveness of everything has to be taken care of. Then maintaining a positive, vibrant working climate. Now if it is a small company, big company, doesn't matter, but if employees are happy in whatever the environment is there, they will be able to work better, and that is what is important. So always have a positive mindset. Don't have employees who always talk negative. People will talk negative, but then don't have people who will always talk negative. That's not a good sign. Everybody around them will get demotivated, they'll not be able to do their work. Then it's about sharing the vision. It's about sharing the vision. Now all of you share the vision of completing Bcom and BBA or your degree. It's sharing the vision. Similarly, companies will have one goal, one dream. So all of us are working towards that one dream. So one way the small businesses leaders will help maintain a positive corporate culture by including all members. Now you would have seen that Surya's new movie, right? Which is talking about Air Deccan and all that. Even though that started as a small business, he wanted to get the concept of aeroplane to the normal public. So what happened, if even though it is a small business, small idea, but then lot of positiveness went into his idea, and that is why he saw the success. And success was not easy. Success was very, very difficult. After seeing so many failures, he saw the success. So that is when you understand the worth of anything. After seeing many failures, you get the success, or after not working out and then you get one success, the happiness is different. Then the managers should look beyond simply sharing the vision. It's not that we are working only for the organization. In return, we are working for ourselves also, to grow, to improve, to become a better human being. Leave out becoming better employee and all that. To become a better human being, to help the organization in an extra level. Okay, so all that the managers has to encourage the employees to work extra for the organization, and then so they can go to the next level altogether. If organization grows, if the whole company grows, employees will grow, their sales will grow, salaries will grow, families will grow. So everybody If families grow, economy will also grow. So that is why the companies are very important for the country. Then the strategy that can help to improve retention. Now, retention is a difficult job because people will keep jumping jobs from one job to another. Okay, so if the jumping of jobs happens after 1 year, 2 year, or if it happens after 5 years, it is good, no problem. After 3 4 years and all, it's fine. But if they start jumping jobs every 3 months, 3 months you work in one place, you don't like the environment, you go to another workplace, you work there for another 4 months, you don't like the environment, you go to another job. So such jumping of jobs is not good for employee, and it's not good for the company also. Why? Because if you're not able to retain the employee in the company, then the company is not doing its job properly. That is what is the impact. If you are not able to retain an employee in the organization, it can be any place. It can be any place. If they are not able to retain the employee, if there is employee turnover, turnover means they will keep changing. So if there is employee turnover, which means the organization is not creating a good environment for people to work. So these are the role of corporate culture. So we have understood so much about corporate culture. Tomorrow, when you get into the company, make sure you try to implement at least few of these. Okay. So I hope everybody is able to follow all of these things. Yes. Are you all able to follow? Good. Now, moving further is the difference between the organizational culture and national culture. It's just you can expect a 2 marks question, but then not necessarily you will get every time. So our national culture is on the national values we have had, the history that is there for the country. Okay, so national culture is all that deep there from the generations. But organizational culture will include a part of national culture, but then the majority of them will be the rules and regulations to be followed in the organization. So you can say 70% of rules and regulations to be followed, or 80% of rules and regulations to be followed in the organization, plus 20 to 30% of the culture being included. Okay, but changing of culture is a difficult task. It is not that easy because it is there in our roots. We have grown learning our culture, so it is very difficult to change this over time, and it will take a lot of time. So national culture is what we have held the values from a longer period of time through generations. Now that part, if it is implied or applied in the organizational culture along with its rules and regulations, that will become an organizational culture. Okay, now moving further, importance of corporate culture. This can be asked for 6 or 14 marks. Okay, I think they can ask this for 14 marks because it's one of the important question. They have asked this also in 3 out of 5, 3 to 4 exams they have asked this. So let us learn what is importance. Now first one is unity. Now, why should we have corporate culture? This corporate culture will get us all together. You are a team. Let's say you are working in a company. Let's say you're working in BMW company. You are a team. You have a team there. Now, in that team, you are expected to have unity in the team because you're working together. You are working on a similar job. Though it may be divided between the people, you're working on a similar job. So it is you who are supposed to, or who are expected to have unity, and that unity will make sure that employees productivity will also increase. If you have unity, you will be able to work better, you will be able to understand each other better, you'll be able to help out each other better. as employees, and you will work together. All these are difficult to be done, but it has to be implemented. You cannot expect every employee to be same, but you will have to train them. Once they are in the organization, you will have to train them to have all of these few things. There should be rules that has to be placed in a proper timing, where they'll be able to work better in the organization. Now next is loyalty. Loyalty is, you are, no matter what happens with the organization, you work in the organization and try to save the organization. That is loyalty. You are being loyal. Now if you see see the faithful animal which they always compare is a dog, right? Why they say, even if the owner scolds, even if the owner hits the dog, even if the owner doesn't put food for the dog, or even if he takes care of the dog very well, the dog is very loyal to its owner, right? So here we are supposed to be loyal to the company, because we are working and company is paying us salary. It is giving us, it is taking our time and giving us the money worth of our time. So that is loyalty. When you are loyal to the company, even during any difficult times, you will still be in the company. And moreover, if you are loyal, you will enjoy your work and you will do it. Nobody should force you to go to the office every day, do the work. That will not happen. Then direction, the guidelines which is required for the companies to work as a team in a good way to complete your work during deadlines. Now the manager will be there. Now manager will be a little experienced person. This manager will usually guide you when which work has to be completed. Why? Because he will have experience of doing that work. He will know which work, if it is done first, you will be able to finish your deadline. So if you are able to have a good communication with the manager in the company, you are able to get guidance from the manager in the company. Okay, don't always depend on them, but then you can seek help whenever required. When you are able to do these tasks, then it is good that the corporate culture has been implemented in this, and employees will also be able to finish their work on time. So that is direction. Then competition, healthy competition. Again, we have understood a lot about competition. Now competition has to be healthy. Never encourage employees to go in an unethical way. Even if people, when you are working in a company, even if people tempt you by showing some unethical stuff, don't get tempted, don't fall into all such things. Do your work, perform well, be ethical. That is what is expected from an employee. Rest all, the results the management will know. Okay, unnecessarily don't get into any competition which is not required for you to do. Okay, if it is for you to grow in the life, yes, please go ahead, but then make sure you are following ethical ways. Fine. Then identity, how you are identified, how company is identified. All together, the brand image of the company, the goodwill of the company. So that is identity. Now that identity also will come through corporate culture. If the company is able, if the company has a culture of helping lot of people, then it will be popular, it will be known to people, and it will be able to have that identity in between the people. So that is identity. Okay, so these are the points under importance of corporate culture. 6 marks they can ask this question. So make sure you learn this better. You can write in your own words, but write these points. These points are important. Write these points and then explain it in your own words. Okay. Next, cross-culture issues in ethics. Culture is what we believe, what we think is right or wrong, what we follow. That will become culture. Now cross culture is the culture of other countries, or if we are working in other countries, how are we gonna understand and implement that culture? So there can be an issue, we would not be aware that we are making a mistake. So when you are doing business with other countries, be very careful. Understand the sensitive topics, understand what is right, what is wrong, what has to be done and what should not be done. Only then you will be able to gather up all that courage and do the work in the other country. So cross culture interaction itself is a difficult task. Language will be different, the beliefs will be different, they might have different religions, so they might have different procedures, the way of business, everything will be different. So cross culture is a vital issue, it's a bigger issue in the international business. So you have to understand how to tackle that cross culture issues. Now everybody need not know that, but then if you are working in a company which has foreign tie-ups, which expect you to visit other countries to do the work, in such cases you have to be careful. Okay, always try to have a smooth interaction, don't go and fall on the other people. Okay, don't go and fall on other people asking about uh, how it has to be done. Fine. So all of these things are very very difficult, and that has to be clearly easily taken care of. So that is the cross culture issues. Now, moving further is the culture specific value system. Now, under cross culture, we are trying to understand what are the culture specific systems which are required to understand. So, firstly, languages. Now, languages are those things, um, language are maybe the first barrier which can stop us in doing the business. Now you, let's say, suppose you do not know German language, we want to do a business in Germany, we do not know the German language. So inside them also they'll have different languages, right? So it cannot become a barrier. You will have to try to know the basic words, you'll have to try to contact their specific governments. You have to understand how the business is done. Now other companies from other countries also come to India. Okay, now in India, imagine how many languages we have. We have some thousands, 10,000 languages, right? So how will businesses do their job? So they will try to know the basic words, they'll try to understand the basic structure of how the businesses are done, and then they will be able to do the business. Okay, then social organization and history. So uh, here, how the social organization means how the society is organized. We have so many people following different religions, we have so many different states, we have so many languages, we have so many systems followed. But then if you see other countries, they might have maximum one or two religion. Okay, they will have limited amount of people. Okay, they treat everybody equal, they're all neutral, they don't have too much of judgments, they don't have too much of opinions, right? So social organization and their history, if you, nobody is asking you to attend history classes, but then a brief things about how was the country, how did the country come up, what is their actual belief, all that you should understand. Then concepts of authority, who is the ultimate person? Who is the ultimate person who to whom you should ask permission? From where should the authority come? What is your job? Do you have authority? Do you have right to talk? Do you have right to express your opinion? Now many countries do not have right to express your opinion. Media is not even encouraged. Nobody can have a news channel except government. Now government also can manipulate the news that they show in the news channel. That is the situation of so many countries. But in India, you have one, let's say 1 crore news channels also will come up. We have so many news channels uh, with different languages, different news. They even create news by themselves and show it off. So authority, the way it is expressed is completely different in different countries. So we have to understand that. Now in our country, prime minister, though president is the highest position, prime minister is the person who will take care of every aspect in the country, right? But if you take Western countries, they have president. President is the person who will do all the job. Prime minister is the person who will help the president. So that is conceptions of authority. Then non-verbal communication. Your body language matters a lot. Okay. So there's a good example which is given here. In the West, anger is expressed by silence. If you get angry in the Western countries, they'll keep quiet. In India, if your mother gets angry, she will take whatever she gets to hand, right? It may be slipper, it may be stick, it may be even your utensils, scale, book, everything will be put on you. So we show it by words, we show it by hands. It depends on the person though, how the anger has been how the anger is engaged and how it has been shown. Okay, so body language differs from one person to another person, from one country to another country. How we eat using hands. In West, they prefer spoons. Okay, they don't like to get their hand into the food and all that. They have their own beliefs. Okay, so nobody is judging it as right or wrong. So but when you go out to the other countries, you cannot always say I will follow whatever I want. No, you have to adjust to their needs. Sometimes you have to since you are doing business, your work has to be done, so you have to request them, get the things done. So non-verbal communication plays a major role. How you sit, how you dress up, how you talk, what is your eye contact, where do you see while you're talking, how is your hand moving, all that will make a very big impact. And in India, we don't touch other person and talk, right? We usually sit in our place, we talk. We don't always touch the opposite person and we talk. But in few places, it's allowed. It doesn't matter. You can just tap on the other person and you cannot have the touching behavior for a longer time. Okay, because there will be the limit for it. Then national differences, how one country is different from another. So that cultural norms, the beliefs that is there. Now, if there is a person who is an ambassador, you would have heard about ambassadors, right? Now, these ambassadors are a government position. That is a government position where Indian ambassador will be there in other countries who will be having a track of what those people are discussing about India. Now, similarly, other countries' ambassadors will be in India. Okay, we'll have an ambassador from Pakistan, we'll have ambassador from US, UK, Australia, Russia. Okay, so why are these ambassadors here? So that whenever we are having a conversation, whenever we have having a complete discussion about other countries, if there is anything that has to be communicated from my country to other country, I will use this ambassadors. Now, ambassadors will not come for a company, they will come for a government. Okay, so for a company, what is important is what the society values more. Now in India, no matter what it is, the women are protected, the women are given, put in more protection. It might be in a good way or a bad way, that's a different thing, but they are put into more action, right? But in the other countries, in west side countries, there's no such things. They'll say, if you are the person, take things to your hand, do your work. So that is differences in the culture. Here many places we try to put religion into the place, and we try to see things through religion also. Fine. So many times in many situations we will be held back by our cultural norms. We'll be held back by our family saying, no, this is not right, we cannot do like this. So national differences will be there. We have to manage, we have to try and manage. The attitude of gifting and bribery is a big thing which has to be understood, and there is no books on it properly written. When you give a gift to a person, how it is treated in different countries, that will be learnt in the international business, where you cannot give gifts in certain countries because that is considered as bribery. Even a normal gift will be considered as bribery in few cases. So you have to be careful about all that. So these are the culture specific value systems, where it has to be understood if the company that you're working is a company other than India. Okay, so this completes our role of corporate culture in business. Now we are left out with the last chapter, that is corporate governance, that we will start in the next class. So did you all understand? Any doubts until here? Any doubts? Good. Okay, so I shall send you this full document today, and I shall give you the rest of I shall give you the rest of the assignment for BE. There's one more assignment left which you will be completing it as early as possible. Okay, yeah.